Okay. Distinguished guests, experts, colleagues, good afternoon. Welcome to the session, Asia Regional Exchange, Sharing City Best Practices on Clean Air Action. My name is Weihao Zhang, the moderator of the session. I work at Clean Air Asia China office. And this session is jointly organized by Clean Air Asia and the Foreign Environmental Cooperation Center, Ministry of Ecology and Environment, PRC, which is shortened as FECO-MEE. The session will showcase some effective regional level and city level clean air practices and approaches, and discuss how to promote and replicate these practices. And the session includes one keynote speech, 4 case presentations, and followed by the panel discussion. First, let me invite Mr. Yong Wang, the Division Director of FECO-MEE, to deliver the opening remarks. Please welcome.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, friends, ladies and gentlemen. It's my great pleasure to gather all of you in Bangkok for this session, co-hosted by the Foreign Environmental Cooperation Center of the Ministry of Ecology and Environment of China and Clean Air Asia. And on behalf of FECO-MEE, I would like to extend the warmest welcome to all participants from across Asia who have traveled far to join us. China has always prioritized air pollution control as a core task of environmental protection. Since 2013, we have achieved a 59% drop in the average concentration of PM2.5 amid rapid economic growth. In 2025, the average PM2.5 concentration in cities, in major cities, fell into 28 micrograms per cubic meter, with the proportion of days with good air quality reaching 89.3%. During the last 5 years, we built the world's largest clean coal power and steel production systems and raised the clean heating rate in northern China to 83%. China's revised National Ambient Air Quality Standard was officially implemented on March 1st this year as the second revision mandated by the State Council since 2012. It stands as an important milestone for building a beautiful blue sky. Centered on PM2.5 control, the revised standard tightens the annual secondary limit for PM2.5 to 25 micrograms per cubic meter, and also raised the regulatory requirements for other pollutants, including PM10, sulfur dioxide, and nitrogen dioxide, aligning with the WHO's Phase 2 interim targets. This approach sends a clear signal of China's commitment to green transition. At present, China is in a critical stage where air quality is moving from the notable improvement to striving for even better quality. We adhere to the integrated promotion of pollutant emission control, reduction, and greenhouse gas control, and have accumulated replicable urban experience in areas such as regional joint prevention and control, intelligent supervision of motor vehicle emissions, and VOC control. As we know, all Asian countries are at a key stage of air pollution control and face common challenges brought by rapid urbanization and industrialization. Taking this exchange as an opportunity, China is ready to share our practical experience in clean air governance with all countries. Practical experience in clean air governance and strengthen the technical exchanges and cooperation, jointly explore innovative approaches to air quality management, and advance the synergistic control of air pollution and carbon emissions. Finally, I look forward to an open and in-depth discussion among all of you and the sharing of more outstanding and practical solutions. May this session be a great success. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Wang. Next, let's move on to the keynote speech. I'm honored to invite the speaker, Professor Qiang Zhang from Tsinghua University. He's also an academician of the Chinese Academy of Sciences. He's one of the key figures supporting the post-evaluation of the National Clean Air Action Plans in PRC. Everyone, let's welcome Professor Zhang.
Thanks, Weihao, for inviting a nice introduction. So it's my pleasure to be here to share our study and information on how China's clean air action promote the improvement of air quality. So as we all know, so since 2013, China has launched its clean air action with the 3 phases to tackle the severe air pollution, specifically the fine particles, the PM 2.5. As with active actions and strengthened measures, so PM concentration has been decreased remarkably during last 10 years. So I think Professor Kebing He has shown this figure in the morning. During or after the implementation of clean air actions, both scientists and the stakeholders were wondering that, so how the measures affect the PM concentration and if they're all effective. So to answer this question, so we need to understand which factors can impact the PM 2.5 concentration. So as shown here, both anthropogenic factors like our emissions and the control measures to emissions, and the natural factors like the variations in meteorological conditions can impact the variations in ambient concentration. So we need to develop an approach to decomposite each factors from the complicated nature and anthropogenic coupled system. So here is a brief introduction of the methodology developed work, so to illustrate how we quantify or isolate the contribution of each control measures. So we begin with a bottom-up emission inventory and then use a scenario analysis to quantify the effectiveness of each measures. That means how the measures reduce the precursor emissions. And then we use the chemical transport model to have sensitivity runs or scenario runs. So with the measure turn on or measure turn off, then quantify the impacts of each measure. So first of all, it's essential to have a very detailed bottom-up inventory that can quantify the ideally each emitting source within the region, but it's very difficult. So in China, we have a very thorough database that include massive industrial sources one by one, as well as very detailed emission inventories for mobile sources like vehicles, shipping, and others. So then we try to quantify the impacts of each measure. So we group the measures one by one to several categories and collect the information with the help of MEE to quantify those measures as well as the emission reduction with those measures. So here's an example for some sectors and measures, and here's another example. Then we use the scenario analysis approach to run the model, chemical transfer model, with the control measure, or without the control measure. Then the contribution of each measure, emission control measure, to the changes of PM concentration then can be calculated and quantified. So the next several slides show the results which we used to quantify the effectiveness of China's clean air action during the first two phases. So the work on the third phases is ongoing, and we expect to have full results later this year. So as we can see, the red bar shows how the emission reduction measures impact the PM 2.5 concentration. So we can see in both two phases, so the control measures dominate the pollution reduction. In the meanwhile, the yellow one shows the contribution from the meteorological variation. So that means that in both phases, meteorological variations are favorable for the reduction of PM pollution. Also, the blue one shows the impact of COVID-19 lockdown. So because of the ending year, the 2020 of the second phase is the first year of COVID-19 pandemic. So with the lockdown measures, so anthropogenic activities were significantly reduced. Also, it contributes to PM 2.5 reduction. So here shows several detailed information. So this shows how the meteorological conditions changed over a year and over each month, in China and in different regions. So we can, the take-home message here is that although on a long-term period, so meteorological conditions can have minor impacts on pollution. But at a daily or monthly level, at a regional level, we can see a very large variation. So they can dominate or control the PM 2.5 variation. So that means that in a given month or even in a given year, if we see the PM concentration or rebounded from the last month or last year, sometimes the meteorological conditions play key roles in that. Here shows how the magnitude and extent of COVID-19 lockdown's impact on PM 2.5 concentration in 2020. So as the lockdown measures were focused on the first 4 months in China in that year, so we use the difference of the activity rates in the first 4 months to estimate the impact of the lockdown measures. It contributes about 1.5 microgram per cubic meter to total PM 2.5 concentration. So here shows the effectiveness of emission reduction measures, so that the contribution of each measure to PM 2.5 concentration in 2 phases. So the key message here in phase 1 and phase 2, we can see the contribution of different measures will quite differ from one phase to another phase. So in the first phase, like the strengthen the industrial emission standard and upgrades of industrial facilities, as well as phasing out small and polluting factories. So the key measures focus on the industry sector have the largest contribution. But to the phase two, because of the emission control facilities, advanced facilities has been implemented in industry sectors. So then the key measures then translated to like more scattered sources, like the mobile sources, residential emissions, and VOC and ammonia emissions in agriculture sectors. So the reduction in PM 2.5 concentration then can be translated or led to the reduction in health impacts. So we estimate that taken the second phase as an example. So you can see more than 150,000 avoided deaths during the 3 years implementation of clean air action. So that is a big achievement of the improvement and protecting public health. So last, we also estimate the costs. So the cost of each measure and the marginal cost curves. So we can see that during phase two, so I guess that means the more low cost and the easy measures implemented first. So in phase two, the unit cost of reducing PM 2.5 has doubled than the phase one. So that means for the future, so we may have to pay more for the pollution reduction. But the return are also significant because with the improvement of air quality and health benefits. So I'm not showing the results here, but usually you can see the health benefits were much, much higher than the cost we paid. So also the nonlinearship between emission and concentration can impact the effectiveness of emission reduction. One example is NOx emission reduction. So we have a lot of efforts on NOx emission reduction. However, not of all of the NOx reduction can be translated to nitrate reduction. While the primary PM emission reduction as well as the SO2 reduction can be nearly linearly transferred to PM reduction. So it's also have the difference here. So here we show the last slides showing our ongoing work on we are trying to estimate the impact of the third phase. So here it shows the very preliminary results. We found that during 2020 to 2025, among the reduction of 5 microgram per cubic meter, so we still have a large contribution in the red from our efforts. However, so we will look at from the first phase to the third phase. So you can see the magnitude of the decrease was narrowed. So that means that we still have face huge challenges in continuous to continuous improvement of air quality. And with the implementation of the carbon peak and the carbon neutrality policy, so that we can expect that the clean air policy and the carbon policy can be integrated together to support our air quality improvements in the future. Okay, that's all. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, thank Professor Zhang. And the next part is the case presentation. We've invited 4 Chinese representatives from environmental authorities, and they will show some effective clean air practices at regional and city level. And each speaker has 8 minutes for presentation. And at first, let me introduce Dr. Yi Tang from Chinese Research Academy of Environmental Sciences. Please.
Thanks. It's an honor to be here to give a talk about the practice in northern China, Beijing, Tianjin, Hebei, and the surrounding areas. First is the development history. The regional energy consumption of Beijing, Tianjin, Hebei, and the surrounding area is 4 times higher than the national average. The regional annual average PM2.5 would exceed in 40 microgram per cubic meter. And during the winter, the low wind and high relative humidity led to severe air pollution. We can trace the air pollution back to 1990s. In 1998, the sulfur dioxide in Beijing has risen sharply, with the monthly average reached a high level of 300 microgram per cubic meter. On December 16, the Beijing government issued a circular on taking emergency measures to control air pollution, introducing control measures in response to air pollution. 10 years later, the Beijing held 2008 Olympic Games. It's the initial condition of our current emission reduction measures. The air quality is ensured through 6 major measures. First is motor vehicle management. The second is the restriction of construction site operation. The third is the limitation of key enterprise. The fourth is emission reduction from coal-fired facilities. The fifth is the control of VOC emission. The sixth is the emergency response under haze pollution. And 5 years later, in January 2013, Beijing has experienced 104 consecutive hours of heavy air pollution with a peak PM2.5 more than 800 microgram per cubic meter. In that month, the air quality in Hebei province is very bad. A lot of cities exceed more than 500 in air quality index. And then the Chinese government implement some conventions, such as Action Plan for Air Pollution Prevention and Control in 2013. The 3-year action plan for winning the Blue Sky Defense Battle in 2018. The action plan for continuous improvement of air quality in 2023. And since 2024, in response to long-term, large-scale severe air pollution episode, the cross-regional joint prevention has been implemented, and the control region expand from 2 plus 26 city to 2 plus 36 city. And we show typical cases in China. It is the 2022 Beijing Olympic Winter Game. This is the first huge major event in China during the winter, and we set an ambitious target, that is the PM 2.5 need to less than 75 during the whole Winter Games. And the work foundation includes three aspects. First is multi-dimensional monitoring network. The second is precise emission reduction inventory. The third is the decision support platform. A technical support system has been established, which include monitoring and forecasting, consultation and analyze, emergency response, supervision and implementation. At the end is the tracking and evaluation. First is the control region settling. We set core zone, key zone, and the general zone in the northern China. We can see the core zone is the Beijing and the Zhangjiakou cities, and the key zone and the general zone is the Beijing, Tianjin, Hebei, and its surrounding areas. To take full advantages of diffusion condition, the control measure were optimized and adjusted during the Olympic game. At first, 44 cities and 39 key industries were taken into control. And near the closing ceremony of Olympic game, we optimized the control zone into 8 cities and 19 key industries. For the support system, the most important is the forecasting technology. Now, the accuracy of pollution process forecast exceeds more than 19%. And then, based on the forecasting system, it was scientifically defined that the pollution episode during the February 8 to 11 posed a high risk of air pollution. And then we established an emergency emission reduction inventory in Beijing and its surrounding areas. At first, the emission reduction inventory includes 15 industries and 210 companies. And now, the emission reduction inventory includes 39 industries and more than 650,000 companies. And then, an innovative policy of performance grading for key industry was introduced. With grade A means the excellent environmental management. The companies with a grade A could be subject to exempted emergency emission reduction measures. And based on the upwind pollutions, we adjust the control methods based on the wind directions. In the end, we successfully support the achievement of air quality target. For example, on the days of opening and the ceremony and the closing ceremony in Beijing, the PM 2.5 concentration was less than 10 microgram per cubic meter, which earned widespread praise from the international media for the Olympic blue. In the end is the future prospect. The first, we need to improve forecasting capability. Now, the accuracy for moderate and severe pollution is only about 60s. The second, we have established the assessment of monetary data, pollution notification, pollution investigation, analyze and feedback, and the rectification. We need to improve the multi-based data management. In the end, we need to scientifically manage the atmosphere environment based on the National Science Project, and we will develop an intelligent regulation and decision-making model for the pollution process. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Tang. Next speaker is Dr. Xiu Shen, the Director of Beijing Ecological and Environmental Monitoring Center. Dr. Shen, please.
Okay. Good afternoon, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's my great honor to be here today to share Beijing's experience in applying new technologies to improve air quality. My presentation will focus on the exploration and the practice of Beijing's integrated triad model. First, let me set the context. In 2025, all 6 major air pollutants in Beijing met the national standards. PM 2.5 concentration dropped to 27.0, a decrease of 11.5%. The city achieved 311 days of good air quality, with only 1 day of heavy pollution. Beijing has made remarkable achievement in air quality improvement. Yet, challenges remain. Current pollutant concentrations still exceed WHO guidelines, and heavy pollution episodes still occur in autumn and winter. We still have a long way to go. To tackle these challenges, Beijing has applied big data technologies and artificial intelligence to air quality governance. Our goal is to unlock the value of data and shift from experience-based decision-making to data-driven governance. Meanwhile, we have established a cross-departmental coordination mechanism. Oversight sets objectives and coordinate joint actions. Monitoring identify problems through data analysis. Enforcement carries out on-site inspection and a closed loop. Together, they form our data-driven integrated triad model. Now, I will introduce how this system is structured and operates. First of all, we have built a completely 3-layer technical system: intelligent monitoring, precision management, and smart dispatching. Intelligent monitoring focuses on data acquisition. Precision management focuses on data utilization. And smart dispatching focuses on AI-driven dispatching. 1. Intelligent monitoring. We have integrated satellite, monitoring tower, ground sensors, and mobile inspection vehicles to realize unified monitoring of ambient air quality and pollution sources. For pollutant sources, we have established a multi-dimensional sensing network covering point, line, and area sources, including SIMS and power consumption monitoring for stationary source, OBD and remote sensing for over 20,000 vehicles, and AI-powered video inspections for construction dust. 2. Precision management. Building on intelligent monitoring, we built full-cycle precision management. Before pollution event, we established a forecasting system covering medium to long term down to hourly forecast. During the event, we developed multi-scale source apportionment technologies for real-time analysis of pollution formation and rapid source localization. After event, we use multi-source data to track emission changes, evaluate the effectiveness of control measures, and quantify emission reductions. 3. Smart dispatching. We built a dual-mode dispatch system, weekly for routine operations, daily for heavy pollution. Multi-department collaborate to ensure every problem is tracked and resolved. We also built an operational dashboard, a unified management platform, and a mobile app to ensure the efficient and effective operation of the triad model. Last, I will introduce outcomes. With this system, our problem detection capability has been upgraded to hourly response. More than 17,000 problems have been resolved through closed-loop management. The proportion of offset supervision has increased from 10% to 70%, providing strong support for precision pollution control. This system has helped consolidate and sustain Beijing's air quality improvements. Today, blue sky and white clouds have become a regular part of daily life in Beijing. Better air quality calls for joint efforts. Let us move forward together. That's all. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shen. And the next speaker is Dr. Meng Yabu, the engineer from Shanghai Academy of Environmental Sciences. Please.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is a great honor to be here. Today, I would like to share Shanghai's detailed industrial VOC control. My presentation covers three parts. First, the challenging and how our governance evolved. Over the past decade, Shanghai has reduced PM 2.5 from 52 to 28 microgram per cubic meter in 46% decline. However, the order remains a persistent challenging. Between 2020 and 2024, order was the primary pollutant on 2/3 of all exceedance day. And the critical precursor driving this order challenging is volatile organic compounds. When we look at where Shanghai's VOC emission come from, the industry sources accounted for roughly 70% of the total, led by chemical, sulfate coating, and petrochemical sectors. This is why industry VOC control has become our top priority for air quality improvement. The Shanghai's VOC control journey has three phases. In the early stage, we built the foundation, conducted the first emission inventory, and polluted air at modular enterprises. In VOC 1.0, we identified the top 150 emitting enterprises and required each to develop the Thailand's one enterprise, one policy treatment place. By 2015, the coverage expanded to over 2,000 enterprises. In VOC 2.0, we shifted to precision governance, launched sector-specific checklist. In 2024, we are deepening control on hard-to-abate fugitive emissions. Now, let's introduce the key innovations behind this result. A central principle of our approach is law-led standards guide. In 2014, Shanghai implemented the national first local regulations requiring full life cycle VOC control and pioneered the legal penalties for fugitive emissions. The key provisions were later adopted into the National Air Pollution Prevention Law in 2014. To support implementation, we have developed 11 standards and over 10 technical guidelines, together with a comprehensive policies mix of action plans, dedicated funding, and operational rules. We adopt different strategies for different phases. During VOC 1.0, enterprise draft their own treatment plans, which went through export review and government finding, empowering enterprise to take their initiative while ensure regulatory quality. In VOC 2.0, we involved the one sector, one checklist approach, defining the required, recommended, and prohibited menus, covers the source, process, and end-of-pipe controls. The effective governance required clean rules. As you can see, Shanghai built collaborative structures. The government need and the enterprise take this possibility, and the technical institution provide the first ethical technical backbone. The system works because every party has decided the rule. Now, let's the results. The PM 2.5 have met the national air quality standards for 5 consequent years. But what I want to highlight is others' strength. Shanghai's order peaked at 181 microgram per cubic meter in 2017 and has been brought down to 144 by 2024, while order was rising in many other Chinese cities. This shows the effectiveness of sustained and targeted VOC control. Finally, let me share some common challenging and future directions. Despite this achievement, 3 challenges remain. Limited adoption of low VOC materials due to cost process compatibility. The fugitive emissions during startup, shutdown, and maintenance are difficult to monitor, and the treatment phases that need to low-cost materials to ensure stable operation. Looking ahead, the Shanghai advance along 3 directions. First, synergize the pollution and carbon reduction, promoting clean productions and low-carbon treatment technologies. The second, tackling hard to abate emissions, strengthening regulation of startup, shutdown, and maintenance operations. The third, smart regulation, deploying mobile sensing and online monitoring for real-time performance evaluation. We believe these directions offer valuable reference point for cities across Asia. Thanks for listening to time.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Bu. Let me invite our last speaker, Dr. Haixia Dai from Shanghai Academy of Environmental Sciences.
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Haixia Dai from Shanghai Academy of Environmental Sciences. It's a great pleasure to take a chance to introduce our work on an intelligent supervision system for heavy-duty diesel vehicle emissions in Shanghai. My talk will cover 3 parts: background, system development, and the future work plan. First, mobile sources are most important sources of PM 2.5 in Shanghai and contributing approximately 44% to PM concentration. And with this, among this, heavy-duty diesel vehicles accounting for approximately 67% of the motor vehicle emissions, making them one of the most important contributors. And now Shanghai faces immense freight pressure leading severe air pollution on key freight corridors. And one critical challenge is that tampering with purification devices leads to about 4 to 5-fold increase in emissions. In addition, the adoption rate of clean and electric trucks is still low. Therefore, emissions from heavy-duty vehicles remain a stubborn problem in Shanghai. So, building an intelligent supervision system is essential to address these challenges. And now look at our system architecture. Our system is built on a robust data foundation, integrating remote monitoring data and Beidou navigation data. And it features multi-layered data. You can show a multi-layer architecture with high scalability and power computing, which can handle a massive daily data flow. And the system's core applications covers 4 scenarios: vehicle, oil, road, and enterprise, and forming a full-chain supervision systems. And for vehicle, you can see that our system enables real-time fleet monitoring, and it can help to detect emission-related fault monitoring, and can identify high-emission enterprises. And our key application of the use is the exemption policy for clean vehicles. And we use our system's data analysis. It can support to find the compliant clean vehicles, which can be exempted from physical inspections, which can reduce the enterprise economic burden and encouraging their green operations. And for oil, our system helps identify non-public filling stations, which may provide substandard fuel, and a normalized supervision mechanism has been established with monthly crews pushed to the areas which can be directed for their on-site inspections. And for road, our systems integrating Beidou navigation data, which monitor the heavy-duty diesel vehicles and their activities across the whole cities, especially for those key freight corridors and construction sites and logistics hubs, or some container yards. So it also can help us to evaluate the environmental effects of the policy enforcement, such as restricting high-emission vehicles like National 3 or National 4. So we can see in the right side, after the implementation of the restriction, National 4 heavy-duty vehicles, the nitrogen oxide concentration within the outer ring area dropped obviously. And for enterprises, our system can help evaluate the cleanliness assessment of the different sectors, and help support the emission management for those with large, heavy-duty density-using users. So finally, our future work will focus continuous technology advancement and application expansion. We will further strengthen establishing a closed-loop mechanism for high-emission vehicles, and will also improve regulatory functions of the IM systems, and we will carry out continuously dynamic compliance mechanism for in-use vehicles. And we will also track and evaluate the structure regestion effects. Also, we will try to observe the carbon emission change after some new vehicle pushing. Yes. And that's all. Thank you for your listening.
Thank you, Dr. Shen. And many thanks to our four speakers. And we also compiled these case studies into a comprehensive report, and everyone is welcome to scan the QR code to download it. And from this case sharing, we can see cities are writing their stories of clean air, and the cities have their own advantages in technology, in policy design, and monitoring system, etc. And the exchange and communication are helpful to promote these practices and address the challenges like how to scale, how to sustain, and how to transplant into different political and cultural soils. So next, let's move on to the panel discussion to get more points of view from our panelists. And we have 8 panelists from 6 countries, so we invite 4 panelists to the stage each time. There will be 2 rounds of discussion. Now I invite the panelists whose names are shown on the screen. Oh, sorry. Now I invite the panelists whose names are shown on the screen to the stage. And my colleague, Dr. Nan Zhong from the Clean Asia China office will be the moderator. Please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this important discussion on improving air quality. We are pleased to bring together representatives from key cities to share their experiences and insights. For the first discussion group, we have representatives from Beijing, Manila, Bangkok, and Hanoi. They will share experiences in precision governance, science-based policy making, and coordinated action. So our panelists are Mr. Yan Liu, Deputy Director of Beijing Municipal Ecology and Environmental Bureau, Dr. Maria Albumina Cambaliza, Research Scientist at the Manila Observatory, Ms. Siwaporn Rasianan, Deputy Director General of Asia Center for Air Pollution Research and also specialized expert on air quality and noise management from Pollution Control Department, Thailand. And Ms. Lei Tai Toi, Deputy Head of Environmental Management Department at the Hanoi Department of Agriculture and Environment. So the first question is to Mr. Yan Liu. We know that Beijing, a few years ago, launched its air pollution control effort known as the 1 microgram initiative. And in recent years, this has been further upgraded to the 0.1 microgram initiative, where each reduction of a 0.1 micrograms of per cubic meter is pursued through targeted and scientific measures. So this reflects an increasingly precise and meticulous approach to air quality management. In terms of scientific and refined governance, could you share some of Beijing's experiences that other cities might learn from?
Okay. Hello, everyone. It's truly an honor to be here today. As scheduled, I'd like to share Beijing's journey in air pollution control and the remarkable results we've achieved. Let me start with the results. Since 2013, Beijing has tackled this challenge with persistence and extraordinary effort. Our annual average PM 2.5 concentration has dropped from 90 to just 27 in 2025. That's a reduction of nearly 30%. This transformation has happened alongside our high-quality economic and social development. In fact, the United Nations Environment Program hailed this achievement in 2021 as the Beijing Miracle. So, what are the key ingredients behind this success? I'd like to share 4 main experiences that other cities might find valuable. First, we have persisted in tackling key problems continuously. The Beijing municipal government has always placed great importance on this issue. We have formulated and implemented a series of action plans, clarifying our main directions and key tasks in different stages. This provides strong institutional guarantees for our work. Second, we have made green development the core of our strategy. We focused our efforts on PM 2.5 control and built a systematic governance system centered on green contact. By 2025, new energy vehicles accounted for over 60% roads of newly added vehicles, with more than 1.28 million on our roads. Furthermore, over 80% of our fleet now consists of new energy vehicles or those meeting China 5 or higher standards. We also achieved a 45% adoption rate of new energy in non-road mobile machinery. Through these efforts, we have established a total of 1,800 green enterprises. Third, we have relied heavily on science and technology. We built an integrated air quality monitoring network covering space, sky, ground, and mobile sources. By integrating data from satellites, online enterprise monitoring, small air quality stations, power consumption monitors, construction site videos, and heavy-duty vehicle tracking, we achieve precise analysis of pollution sources. Artificial intelligence and big data are now essential tools in our daily management. Fourth, we have upheld region joint governance. Under the guidance of the Ministry of Ecology and Environment, Beijing has established a close prevention and control mechanism with neighboring provinces and cities. We work together on unified planning, unified standards, and coordinated emission reduction. The result is clear. While Beijing's air quality has improved, all cities in the region are achieved synchronous improvement. Thank you for your attention. I hope our experience can offer some useful insights.
Thank you very much, Mr. Liu. So building on the importance of scientific evidence, I would now like to invite Dr. Kambalisa to share Manila's experience. So the Manila Observatory have served as a scientific anchor for air quality management in Philippines. Could you please share examples of how monitoring data and scientific observations have informed policy and lessons from science policy integration? Thank you.
Thank you very much, first for the invitation to come here and for me to share our experiences. So allow me to read the narrative that I've written here. So to complement the efforts of our Philippine Department of Environment and Natural Resources Environmental Management Bureau, The Manila Observatory has been monitoring PM 2.5 for over 2 decades now, and we have seen the value of dedicated and uninterrupted measurements as the long-term data set indicate or validate the success of air quality policies implemented by our government. So we have observed reductions in annual PM 2.5 concentrations, which we actually associate with the implementation of department administrative orders that involve the adoption of mandated international emission standards. When the Manila Observatory started monitoring in year 2000, we have seen values of PM 2.5 of the range of around 50 to 60 micrograms per cubic meter annual value. But right now we are seeing numbers, annual values of around 18 to 20 micrograms per cubic meter, at least at the Manila Observatory site, which is roughly a 60% reduction since the time we started monitoring. And this for us is very hopeful. So we are communicating this to our government so that they know that the policies that they're actually implementing, it seems to be really working. So it's really, really good. And then just to demonstrate the power of coordinated action, I'd like to give an example. What comes to mind was the Metro Manila aerosol characterization experiment. This was an intensive field campaign that was conducted in 2015 with local and national as well as international collaborators. So this was not only participated on by the Manila Observatory, but also participated on by our collaborators such as the University of the Philippines in Diliman, De La Salle University, Ateneo de Manila University, our Department of Science and Technology, Philippine Nuclear Research Institute, and the Leibniz Institute for Tropospheric Research. So during that time, it was really a coordinated effort where all these teams actually measured the physical and chemical properties of particulate matter in Metro Manila. And one of the key findings of the field campaign was the significant contribution of black carbon to the bulk mass of particulate matter. And while BC was observed to be very high at the Manila Observatory, which is actually an urban mixed site, it was even higher or more abundant at roadside sites in Metro Manila, which unfortunately are actually frequented by people. So while BC is not yet regulated by the Philippine government, it is definitely now in the radar and a priority of our Department of Environment and Natural Resources, the Environmental Management Bureau, as BC is a known carrier of toxic substances in the human body. So I'll stop here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I'd like now to move on to Bangkok. So Ms. Silverport, during the dry season, Bangkok faces recurrent PM 2.5 pollution episodes. Could you share key emergency measures you have implemented and the lessons other cities in the region could adapt, and how your established expertise can serve as a model for joint initiatives to strengthen regional response?
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm very happy to be here. Actually, as the main source of PM 2.5 in Bangkok come from transport sector, so our focus is on vehicle control, and we have like progressive measures. We have promoting the cleaner engine by the government, working with the private sector, and reduce the price of engine inspection, and then we encourage people to bring in their vehicle to tune up their engine to be in the good condition so that they won't emit a lot of air pollutants. And we also have the black smoke enforcement as well, because we will have a roadside inspection and inspect any vehicle that the black smoke exceed the standard. It will be fined and temporarily prohibited of use. And after that, when they bring their vehicle to fix and to black smoke is under the standard, the vehicle will be allowed to use again. And in the meantime, Bangkok also affect from open burning from any provinces around the city. So we PCD working with Bangkok City and also the another province is in metropolitan area to have a specific collaboration to control open burning. And for regional cooperation, actually we have ASEAN agreement on transboundary haze pollution. So we follow the SOP and the protocol of ASEAN agreement. And Thailand, we also initiate many mechanisms to leverage the work of the agreement by we initiate the haze-free ASEAN roadmap, we initiate action plan, and also the sub-regional strategy to tackle transboundary haze pollution as well. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your thorough response. Then finally, and finally, we'd like to hear from Hanoi, which is developing its next phase of air quality management under the National Action Plan. So Ms. Thuy, following the National Action Plan for Air Quality Management from 2026 to 2030, which 3 priority measures should Hanoi focus on, in your opinion? And what capacities need to be strengthened? And what lessons could other cities draw from your approach? Thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to share Hanoi's perspective. So first of all, I would like to emphasize that according to the latest City Action Plan this year, improving air quality is one of the top priorities of Hanoi from 2026 and the years ahead. So for the city leadership, clean air is not only the environmental issues, it is a public health priority and a key condition for sustainable urban development in the capital of Vietnam. Following the Vietnam's National Action Plan for the Air Quality Management for the period of 2026 to 2030, Hanoi is currently reviewing and adjusting its air quality management plan to ensure that it aligns with the national priorities while addressing the specific challenges of a large and rapidly developing capital city. So from our perspective, there are 3 priority measures that Hanoi will focus on. First, strengthening science-based air quality management. At the moment, the city expanding its monitoring network and conducting the emission inventories, data integration, and air quality modeling system. Better data allows us not only to understand the pollution sources more clearly, but also move from reactive response to more proactive and preventive management. Second, reducing emissions from key urban sources. In Hanoi, like Bangkok and Thailand in general, transportation, construction activities, and emissions from industry and craft villages are among the major contributors to the air pollution. The city will strengthen control measures and promote cleaner technologies and mobility solutions. In particular, Hanoi is studying the implementation of the Low Emission Zone, LEZ, as a pioneering policy tool to reduce the traffic-related emissions while encouraging the transition toward cleaner urban transport. Third, strengthen regional governance of air pollution. Air pollution does not stop at the city boundaries, and a significant share of the pollution affecting Hanoi is linked to the regional emission sources. The newly adopted capital law of Hanoi provides an important legal basis for establishing the governance of the mechanism for the capital region. including coordination frameworks to address the transboundary and of the air pollution. So to implement these priorities effectively, Hanoi also recognized the need to strengthen several key capacities, particularly in integrating data systems, emission inventories methodologies, air quality modeling, policy design, and enforcement mechanism. So from Hanoi's experience, one important lesson for other rapidly urbanizing cities that improving air quality requires a combination of sound science, strong governance, and regional cooperation. Cities cannot solve air pollution alone. Coordinated action across sectors and across administrative boundaries is essential. Hanoi looks forward to working closely with national authorities, neighboring provinces, and international partners to move steadily toward cleaner air for our capacity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Thuy. And thank you very much to all the panelists in the first group. The views you have shared have highlights the importance of science-based and also integrated governance in air quality management. So now I would like to invite the second groups of panelists on the stage. Our second discussion group features the Beijing-Tianjin-Hebei region and Shanghai, Jakarta, and Ulaanbaatar. Our panelists are Dr. Yi Tang, Associate Professor, Chinese Research Academy of Environmental Sciences, and Dr. Meng Ya-Bu, Engineer, Shanghai Academy of Environmental Sciences. Ms. Ernie Polita Fitra-Tunisa, Head of Environmental Pollution and Damage Control Division, Jakarta Environmental Agency. And finally, Mr. Barkat Srabcha Bordoj, Central Laboratory of Environment and Meteorology, Mongolia. So they will share their experiences in managing pollution sources in their respective countries. So the first question is for Dr. Yi Tang. Regional pollution transport is a challenge faced by many cities. So the joint prevention and control efforts in the Beijing-Tianjin-Hebei region have proven to be very effective. In your view, what are the best practices from this experience that could serve as a reference for other Asian countries? Please.
Of Northern China. The first is a high-level official coordinate. For example, if a province wants to hold a major event, it need to organize different cities to join the prevention and control the air pollution. If the capital of a country wants to hold a major event, one province cannot do it by itself. The central government should organize and hold the major event. This is the first point. The second point is we need to have a good technical support team, which include forecasting system is very important. And the second is a monetary system. The good monetary system could provide enough data for us to analyze and assessment. And the second is the emission reduction review. Based on the emission reduction review, we could know how our policy and strategy work good or bad. And the last, I think, is the law enforcement. In some hate pollution, some company would violate the law, so we need to punish them so that we can do a good emission reduction. That's all. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tang. So now let's move on to Shanghai. So Dr. Meng Yabu, as one of China's leading industrial cities, Shanghai has achieved deep emission reductions. Could you share the refined management strategies and technical approaches that made this possible?
Thank you for that question. As an economic center with over 4 trillion RMB in industrial output, the Shanghai has always committed to the four life cycle controls, pursue the win-win between economic growth and environmental protections. In terms of the management, as I shared in my presentation, we pioneered the one enterprise, one policy approach and upgraded it to one sector, one checklist, promoting every industry with standardized obliging roadmap to enhance precision governance. In source and principal controls, we have promoted the low VOC substitution, significant improvement area, and enclosed the operation to curb fugitive emissions. And in end of the pipe treatment, the supervisors, we have adopted defaulted and digital regular systems, applying the same online monitoring for major facilities, while reward the key operating paths of simple treatment facilities, ensure the actual operation performance. Finally, we relied on the carrot and the strict economic approach, the using tiered pollution field to push the enterprise towards the compliance, combined with targeted subsidies with the reward greater reductions and strongly motivating the valuable deep emission count. So thanks so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bu. So next, let's hear from Jakarta. So Ms. Fitritunisa, could you introduce key measures or practices that have contributed to addressing the biggest sources of air pollution in Jakarta and could be replicated in other cities? What is Jakarta's priority moving forward? Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. For the Jakarta, the government of Jakarta has been implementing policies to control air pollution since 2005. The main legal framework is Regional Regulation number 2, year 2005 on air pollution control. Yeah, this regulation is followed by some regulation from the governor, and the last regulation is Governor Decree number 576 year 2023 about Jakarta air pollution strategy. Now, in this regulation, Jakarta has implementing three strategy. The big strategy is management of air pollution, and the second reducing emission from transportation, and the third reducing emission from industry. And then this regulation includes 16 programs and 64 action plans, then implemented across by related institutions in Jakarta province. Now, some case include developing emission inventory, expanding air quality monitoring station, reference and sensor, developing a low emission zone integrated, not only zero emission, but include space and then clean, energy clean, and then zero open burning, and then expanding green space, implementing transport demand management. Now, for the contributor, what the big contributor air pollution in Jakarta? Jadi, the big contributor air pollution in Jakarta is transportation. Maybe it's the same with the some city that is transportation. Yeah. To address implemented several transport policies in Jakarta. Jakarta has implemented expanding public transport such as BRT, LRT, MRT, and etc. And then expanding public transport routes the surrounding metropolitan areas. This is my colleagues from Bekasi and Bogor City. Yeah. And then integrating public transport through transit-oriented development, TOD. Promoting vehicle electrification, developing a low-emission zone integrated, implementing the odd-even traffic policy, and conducting annual vehicle emission testing. Jakarta Polvis has implementing incentive and disincentive for the air pollution control. To encourage people to conduct emission testing, Jakarta has introduced several measures. Integration with electronic traffic law enforcement. And then parking, disincentive for vehicles that fail emission tests, and plan integration of vehicle emission coefficient into vehicle tax policies. At the same time, enforcement has been strengthened against illegal open burning. And then industry that do not comply with emission standards and heavy-duty vehicle that fail emission testing. For the collaboration with the other stakeholder, include surrounding Jakarta with Bogor, Depok, Bekasi, Tangerang. Jakarta is part of large metropolitan area, and air pollution is influenced not only by sources within the city, Jakarta city, but also by surrounding regions. This is the big challenge for Jakarta to attack the air pollution. Therefore, Jakarta is currently evaluating its program and action plan to accelerate air pollution control. The number 576 Jakarta support by Clean Air Asia to evaluate. Why evaluate? Because some action not yet included in that regulation. The second, not yet law enforcement. And the third, not yet participation of citizens in Jakarta. Yeah, challenge. The That is, the challenge is surrounding regions, national level coordination, and political will. That's enough. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. So now let's turn to Ulaanbaatar. Mr. Bodors, Ulaanbaatar faces the challenge in managing emissions from coal-fired power plants and also heating system used in the JER districts. Could you share key measures that government has implemented to address these emissions that could be relevant to other cities, and which experiences from other cities could be adapted to your context? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, distinguished guests and colleagues. I am honored to speak on behalf of Mongolia. At first, I would like to share recent progress in strengthening air quality monitoring and management. Air pollution is a significant environmental challenge in Mongolia, particularly in winter season. In response, government of Mongolia has been implementing several range of policy and technical measures to improve air quality and protect public health. In 2025, several important steps were taken to strengthen our national air quality management. The first, National Committee for Air Pollution Reduction re-established, and to enhance coordination and policy implementation. Second, the government revised and approved updated national air quality standard. Key improvement was strengthening PM 2.5 standard, the WHO interim target 2 to interim target 3. Third, with support of Republic of Korea, air quality monitoring station installed in 21 province centers. Now we have 40 air quality monitoring stations, and we are air quality that is designated to the public using air quality index. As you know, our city's main contributor to air pollution is domestic heating stoves. So last year we changed the fuel, transition from the coal briquette to semi-coke briquette. It's has contributed to a reduction in sulfur dioxide and particulate matter in this winter. Looking ahead, Mongolia will continue its effort to reduce air pollution by transitioning households that use traditional stove to cleaner heating solutions, including gas and electric heating, as well as implementing redevelopment of grey area and urban centers. At the same time, the government of Mongolia is actively supporting the development of renewable energy projects. Currently, one hydropower plant is under construction, while another one is design and planning stage. In addition, wind and solar energy projects being developing and will be implemented in the phases. The Mongolia remains committed to strengthening air quality monitoring system, promoting cleaner energy solution, and enhancing international cooperation in order to achieve cleaner air and healthier environment for all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bodors. So that be all for our panel discussion. So with that, we conclude our panel discussion, and thank you to all our speakers for sharing these valuable insights and also city experiences. Now, I would like to give the stage back to my colleague Wei Hao to conclude today's session.
Okay, thank you. Thank all the panelists for the excellent opinion sharing, and thank Dr. Zhong for moderating the panel discussion. And everyone, again, let's show our gratitude to all the speakers and the panelists. Since we have no Q&A, for anyone who has any question, please feel free to talk to the speakers and the panelists after the meeting. And now we are nearing the end of the session. I think we had a very productive and insightful meeting with very good time control. And apparently, to facilitate regional exchange, peer learning among cities is very necessary. And Asia regional exchange needs very flexible, grounded city-to-city interfaces. And a very good signal we can see today is that some cities have already achieved something at different scales. And in the future, Clean Air Asia will continue to facilitate regional exchange and build more multi-stakeholder networks. And at last, I want to thank all the participants. Hope you can enjoy your stay during the BEQ. Thank you very much. A gentle reminder is next session in this room is a closed door meeting. The invitees please come back in 30 minutes.